All right, Shalom, Shalom. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This is the deacon, and we got a new thing going on right now. Actually, I'm gonna try something new on this channel. We usually go live from other channels, and why did hold on. So this is my first time going live on this channel. So Shalom, brothers and sisters. Let me share it to get a few more people in here. Share it, Saints. Share it. If you're Sakari and you're in here, Sakari, share it in the Kabarium 1 and the Kabarium 2 on Facebook Messenger. Ah, all right. So let's see. I mean, where should I really start? But yeah, you got this guy by the name of Faithful to God. That's his YouTube channel. Also, Mike Perea, they call him as well. And this is an individual who's overly obsessed with the Hebrew Israelite movement. If you go to his channel, he has all kind of Hebrew Israelite videos. Um, we did a video debunking his Isaiah 14 theology and exegesis. And he had to stop. He had to stop. He had to stop teaching for a while. Then he just started re-uploading videos. Oh, excuse me. This was the same guy that Sergeant Yatab of Sakari, Seattle, did a video on. You got to check that video out on Sakari, Seattle. Oh, he's about to do Mike Perea. So yeah, Faithful to God is his channel, but his name is Mike Perea. So I'm not gonna get on his level, and he's always trying to act uppity and like he's on some level or something and insult us. And I guess he didn't learn his lesson from when he got debunked on Isaiah 14. But anyway, we're not gonna insult him. We're just gonna go through and show the pseudo scholarship from the pseudo apologists. Yeah, he was working with Vocab Malone, and oh, he was in a cult. He was in a cult for a while. This guy Mike Perea, and Shalom, one love. Thank you for the support for the channel. Like, share, subscribe, super chat. Let's keep the ministry going. But yeah, so he was in a cult called the Hebrew Roots for a while, and he finally got out of there and decided to become a Christian or something. I don't know. But anyway, this is his video trying to say that Job is an Edomite according to the what they call the Appendix of Job. The Appendix of Job is at the end of the book in the Greek Septuagint, which I'm going to be using right here. What the LXX is the Greek Septuagint. It means 70, right? Greek Septuagint allegedly compiled. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Allegedly compiled about 280 BC. That's about almost 300 years before the birth of the Messiah, right? Where Ptolemy and the Greeks, you can read about this in the Maccabees, forced us to burn our Hebrew manuscripts, as the story tells it, forced us to burn our Hebrew manuscripts and translate them into Greek to pretty much oppress and suppress us of our nationality and heritage. So, what's contained in the LXX is the Old Testament, the writings, What I mean by the writings are the Psalms, Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, the wise words, the poets, majority of the Apocrypha. That's the Greek Septuagint. Now I believe later editions have added the New Testament. I believe, I'm not sure, but originally they say it was the Old Testament, the writings, and the law, and the prophets, most of the Apocrypha. All right, so in the appendix of Job in the Masoretic text, Job stops at. And as a matter of fact, let me pull it up in the Masoretic text real quick, and then we're gonna have some fun. I'm starting off kind of slow, but we're gonna pick it up and have some fun here. So Job 42 and 17. This is what it says in the Masoretic text in the Hebrew manuscripts. So Job died being old and full of days, right? That's Job 42 and 17. But in the appendix of Job, in the Greek Septuagint, it says, Job 42 and 17, it says, and Job died an old man and full of days. This is where it stops originally. But now we have this addition. Look, all of this is supposed to be one verse. From after days all the way down here. You see that? So this is called an addition. And let's read it. Let's just read it. It says, and it is written that he will rise again with those whom the Lord raises up. This man is described in the Syriac book, living in the land of Osis, on the border of Idumea and Arabia. And his name before was Jobab, and have taken an Arabian wife. He begot a son whose name was Enon, and he himself was the son of his father Zer, one of the sons of Esau, right? And of his mother Basora, so that he was fifth from Abraham. And these were the kings who reigned in Edom. So we're not even gonna finish all of that. That's irrelevant. The point is that the appendix of Job is saying that Job is the same as Jobab. Jobab in the Bible comes from the line of Esau. So this is why they're saying Job is an Edomite, right? Now, the whole basis of this information is from the Syriac book. You have to keep in mind the Syriac book. You have to keep in mind who Jobab is, the timeline, right? And you have to keep in mind this: kings who reigned in Edom. So you have to remember, keep that on your mind. That's very, very imperative to this discussion. So the whole basis of the source in the appendix of Job is the Syriac book. So whoever's redacting this is saying that they're getting their information from the Syriac book. All right. So let's just run it up. We're gonna go through it, right? Let's start right here. Let's start right here. Right. Oh no. Pop-ups. Okay, so this is a testament of Job as an adaptation of the LXX Job, right? Now, I want to get what page am I on? 400. So let's go up some and let's see exactly what this. This is Text Critical and Hermeneutical Studies in the Septuagint by J. Cook and H.J. Stipe, right? So these are individuals who deal in the field of textual criticism. And I'm sorry, I got a pop up. And let's see what they have to say about the appendix of Job, which that's what the edition is called. It's called the appendix of Job. That nigga's funny. Um, Khan Shalom, daughter of Zion. So let's see what they say about the addition of the appendix of Job in the school of textual criticism. Right? That's when you examine a text and you study it and you see if it's authentic or not. So it says the Greek translation contains four what? Additions. So the Greek translation of Job, which would be in the LXX or the Greek Septuagint, there are four additions, meaning the original translators who translated it from Hebrew did not put that in there. So therefore, it is not an original translation. It is an addition. We don't need to go to the etymological definition of addition. Y'all should know that if you took remedial math classes. All right. So let's check out some of them. Job's wife is given a longer speech when she exhorts Job to curse God and die. So when you look in the Masoretic text, the Hebrew manuscripts, Job 2 and 9, she's like, just curse God and die. But in the Greek Septuagint, it's a whole another paragraph of some crazy stuff. Another edition of the Greek Septuagint that was added in there is the friends are identified as kings. They're all identified as kings in the Greek Septuagint, right? Another one, there is a reference to certain to the certainly I'm sorry, this must be there is a reference to the certainly of Job's, it should be certainty of Job's resurrection after the notice of his death at the end of the book in Job 42 and 17. What is this saying? That not only is the part about him being an Edomite in addition, but him rising from the dead is an addition. Like that seems kind of extra. Like because they say Job was struggling with, resurrection, so whoever redacted it or made an addition had to clarify that, yeah, this man's gonna be resurrected as well, right? So, let me look at the comments here. What's going on? Yeah, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. I got some stuff to do, so I don't have a lot of time to monitor the I don't have a lot of time to monitor the chat, and I don't have a lot of time to go back and forth with you niggas. So I'm trying to live my best life. But so moderators, anybody who's kind of out of order, just time them out because I got to get through this quick and I don't want no distractions. So all right, so the fourth edition. Let's go to the fourth edition. The book concludes with an appendix. An appendix that's what it's called here. All this edition is the appendix, right? Which refers to a Syrian source. So look, now here's the thing, right? So originally we had the Hebrew manuscripts. Ptolemy and the Greeks forced us to translate our Hebrew manuscripts into Greek. And so the Syriac, which we're going to get to, the Syriac Bible, which it says the Syriac book, the word for book is Bible. So this would literally be saying, if you wanted to say the Syriac Bible, this man is describing the Syriac Bible. But wait a minute, the Syriac Bible didn't come until 180 AD is when they started it, and they didn't even finish it till like the 5th century. So if anybody's good with conventional chronology, that's 280, that's almost 500 years later. And this is how you know that the appendix of Job is an addition, as textual critics will agree. Because how is he getting a source? Because Faithful or Mike Perea, he's saying that this was in the original translation from Hebrew to Greek. But how the hell they're getting it from the Syriac book or the Syriac Bible, the Peshitta, which didn't come until 180 AD, 400 to 500 years later. Close down shop, you're not qualified to teach, my brother. All right, let's keep going. So it says the book concludes with an appendix which refers to a Syrian source, locates Job's land of origin, and equates Job with the Jobab mentioned in, I'm sorry, in the genealogy of Esau in Genesis 36 and 33, before once again enlisting his three friends in the land as they ruled. Now here's the, watch this. This appendix is not found in the Peshitta, which they're saying is from. Now here's the crazy part. Hold on, let me finish it. This appendix is not found in the Peshitta, the Qumran Targum, or Rabbinic Targum of Job. No ancient sources, not even the book in which they say they got it from. It's not there. So who added this addition? And the question is why? What was their agenda? What was their agenda? Is it because they seen the prophecies condemning Esau and try to open up and try to, what we say, come up some other way? Why? What is their agenda for adding this? Okay, so all right, now let's close out of here. Let's keep going. All right. So here we have um Job as Jobab, right? Where's Genesis at? Where do I have this at up here? Okay. Here's who they're saying Job is. They're saying Genesis 36 and 34. Let's start at 33. Whereas listen, no, let's start at 31. Uh, and these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of the city was Dinhaba. And Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Basra, reigned in his stead, and Jobab died, blah, blah, blah. So the addition to Job is saying that Job is this guy, Jobab, and he got his source from a Syriac book that wasn't even invented until 400 to 500 years after the Greek Septuagint. Yet Mike Perea, faithful to God, is saying that this is an original translation. Now, I don't know what the agenda was for the addition, but I want to know, Mike Perea, what the hell is your agenda for making a claim like that? No, young king. That's what we did when we mourned. And the Lord would even tell us to go rent our garments, put ashes on our head, and shave our head. All right, so let's take a look at this, right? Another exegesis on the appendix of Job. This is Annette Yoshiko Reed from the. This is a piece from the Princeton University, right? So I think it's uh, uh, okay. I think this would do. Okay, here we go. After the end of the story of Job, 42 and 17, in the LXX, Job contains two editions with no equivalents. In the MT, the Peshitta is the first Syriac compiled Bible. Look, bro, you guys need to listen to the lesson. Listen to the lesson. If you got questions, hit the email, and it's causing confusion in the chat. If you're not asking questions about the appendix of Job and the topic at hand, chill out or time out. Or you can go, I'm gonna tell you like this, like the elder used to tell us. You can go you can go to sleep, you can go take a nap, you can go eat, you can go watch another YouTube video, or you can go to hell. All right. So let's see. After the end of the story of Job in 42:17, the LXX Job contains two editions with no equivalent in the MT or the Peshitta, which is the first Syriac Bible, Qumran Targum or Rabbinic Targum of Job, right? So Here's another more information I'll say dealing with how they don't know where the hell this source came from. Okay, so let's go to this is a book called The Hermeneutics of the Happy Ending in Job 42, 7 to 17. Right? Now, uh, human conversation. Is this the page I need? I think this is the page I need. Okay. Um, Okay, here we go. So, in the hermeneutics of the happy ending in Job, by Ingwa, Kenneth Ingwa, you look at the end and the end of page 41, and it says, in addition, in addition to the theological argument, the narrator also forged. What does it mean to forge? Forged something you fraudulently did. A genealogical link between Job and the patriarch par excellence, Abraham. So, according to scholars who deal in hermeneutics, the genealogy in the appendix of Job 42 is a forgery. All right? A fraudulent forgery. Let's go off of that. Now let's deal with this right here. This is very important. This is very important. So so this is from a read. Are Job and Jobab the same person? Now, uh, with this guy, I chose to use his piece because whether he's a scholar or not, this is literally true. This is very true, right? Now let me see something. Now I want you guys to check this out. I want you guys to check this out, right? Um, let's go back one. No, let's go up. 42. I want you guys to check this out. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this. Now watch this. Job 42 and 16 in the LXX in the Greek Septuagint. It says, and Job lived after affliction 170 years. And all the years, watch this, and all his years he lived were 240. So wait, so I want you guys to understand something here. This is not in the Hebrew manuscripts. This is from the Greek Septuagint. It's saying that Job lived 240 years. 240 years. Now, if this is Jobab, who's fifth from Abraham, lifespans were not 240 years at that time. That's a complete. Okay, I'm sorry, brother. He said zoom out a bit of pixel. So if it's pixelated, you can look this up in the Greek Septuagint. Job 42 and 16, it's saying he lived 240 years. Now, if this is Jobab, then that means he outlived Abraham, his alleged grandfather, his dad Esau, and God's friend who wrestled with God, Jacob. I want to read. This is why I chose to read this article right here. Right now, check this out. This is crazy. So it says, let me know if you guys can see it. If not, you can look this up. It's are Job and Jobab the same person from Setterfield.org, right? Now look, check this out. How do I get out of these comments, man? You guys are like making it hard for me to read. Okay. So it says in Genesis 10:26 to 29, Joktan's 13 sons are listed. Joktan was Peleg's brother, and it was in blah, 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 blah. The evidence we have found in the Bible says that yes, he is in the ancient. Okay, let me go down. Let me do this right here. Okay, here we go. I'll highlight this part. It says, before Peleg and after Noah's flood, the age of expectancy was more like 400 to 450 years. After the time of Peleg, we see a fairly rapid drop in life expectancy from over 400 years, right? To Peleg, 239 years, then Ru at 239 years, 239 years for Surag, 148 years for Abraham's father, sorry. Then Abraham 175 years, then Moses 120 years, which is the maximum life expectancy for today. Now, it says, I'm going to start at a question was asked whether this was Jobab or not from the understanding from the appendix of Job, right? So it says, uh, nonetheless, there is a sure way of discerning which group those in the book of Job belong to. At the time of Jacob and Esau, the maximum age that was attained according to scripture was 137 years for Ishmael, 147 for Jacob. And if this guy, if Job is Jobab, then he lived at the time of Jacob. He would have been a kid because he's fifth from Abraham, right? And 175 for Abraham. These ages are all concordant, but the Alexandrian LXX, the Greek Septuagint, tells us that Job died at the age of 248 years, or about 100 years older than scriptural norm for the time of Esau. In fact, we have to go back to the days of Peleg before we find people living more than 200 years old. So that's madness. Now let me play something real quick. Let me just play some of these outlandish statements that this guy makes so we can laugh a little bit. Okay, here we go. Let's start at how much time I got left. Whew, Lord in Christ. 42 minutes. Let's start at 42 minutes. Now he's trying to go on IUIC for breaking it down, but let's just listen.
Like, even though I'm not saying it is, and I don't agree with him, why do you have the Israelites identifying Job as an Edomite in the first place?
Right.
I think Tahar knows that the Septuagint was literally translated by the Israelites before the time of the apostles. And I say this also to IUIC. Before we even get into this, I want the audience to keep that in mind. Any argument that they make is going to go against any presupposition that they create, because the Israelites themselves translated the Septuagint.
Now you see this liar. He's saying that Israelites translated it. Well, Israelites translated the Apocrypha, but you don't believe in the Apocrypha because you want to follow out the Edomite Protestants who came damn near 2,000 years after the Apocrypha was in use, and a group of white Gentiles got together and said they're no longer inspired. So that's the type of white supremacy our people believe in. But then again, word is that Mike Perea, faithful to God, he's got an Irish grandfather in his lineage. So go figure. But the point is this. It's such a lie and such a disingenuous lie to sit up here and say that the Israelites translated Job 42 as it appears in the LXX, when all scholars will tell you it's an addition and they got it from a Syriac book that was 500 years later. So that means whoever was the copier or controlling the text at that time added an addition to the scriptures along with his age and along with the resurrection. So why would you say it was originally translated by Hebrew Israelites in the time that they were translating the Greek Septuagint and composing that? That's a lie. Let's keep going.
And that passage in Job was rendered by the Israelites.
That passage, this passage in Job was rendered by the Israelites, but they're saying they got it from a Syriac book. Whoever added this said they got it from a Syriac book that didn't even exist yet. A Syriac Bible that didn't even exist yet. Anybody can look this up. It's simple as ABC. I want to have my son debate this guy. So let's keep going into some more funny stuff.
That was the Israelites. That Job 42:17 in the Septuagint was rendered by the Israelites.
It's so funny, man. It's so funny because he has to have some type of agenda to make this statement to say that in the 3rd century BC, the Israelites had had a Hebrew Bible and a Syriac Bible, and they translated it into the Greek Septuagint. You know how historically and scholastically laughable that is, right?
I want everybody to keep that in mind.
Okay, so let me how means love, brother. So let me go to let's see. Let me jump around a little bit because I want to try to get through some of these good points. Lily. Okay, so let me get 46.
In the Syriac book, or Syriac book.
Yeah, in the Syriac book, and here goes Jay, the producer. He left IUIC and he joined that a cult called Christianity. So we gotta pray for that brother. But let's
living in the land of Ossus, on the borders of Adu.
So here they are. They're reading Job 42, the edition, and they're trying to act like it's quote unquote inspired and original.
Yeah, in Arabia, and his name before was Jobab. And having taken an Arabian wife, he begot a son whose name was Enon. And he himself was the son of his father Zaire, one of the sons of Esau, and of his mother Bezor, so that he was the 5th from Abram.
Okay, now real quick, you don't have to read the rest. I think that's pretty clear. Everybody out there can see the rest of it, man. And it even identifies one of his friends as one of the sons of Esau.
Now you see he didn't touch on the Syriac thing, right? He didn't explain that, but he's gonna try to do it though. Watch, this is funny. Okay, now let me what do I have up here? Okay, the Peshitta, right? This would be the Syriac Bible, the Peshitta. Oh, you know what? Oh, dang, that's what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna have to pull that back up. Because he broke it down. He broke it down real quick. Hold on. He broke it down. Okay, here we go. I gotta get this. I must get this. Because somebody asked a question on the panel on if this was Jobab or not. And this is what he said. Perfect. Here we go. It's Jobab, right? Now watch this. Da, 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 da. Am I looking for something else here? Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. About Hebrew and Greek languages, the translation of Paleo Hebrew. Okay. Okay, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, here we go. All praises. So look, check this out, right? So remember, it says in the Syriac Bible is where they got the appendix of Job from, right? So I want to read this at the end of this piece. Not only dealing with the age, it also deals with the fact that where they got the source from. Now check this out. I'm gonna start right here. The Syriac version of the Old Testament originated about 180 AD. So this is when they started compiling the Peshitta, which was well after the Council of Jamnia, and it should say, it'll say 100 AD, but it may be 1000 AD, where the Masoretic text originated. I gotta look at that though, because I know the Masoretic text was finished in 1000 AD, but it could have originated in 100 AD, where they started compiling it. But it says, it therefore has nothing to do with the Alexandrian Septuagint text, which is originated 280 BC or over 450 years earlier. Mike Perea, you need to pack your bags and head to Ireland. I know how to do the Irish jig. This is called the Irish jig. When you bring out these facts, then you start making people do the Irish jig. That's the dancing, tap dancing, right? So again, brothers and sisters, remember, the LXX is saying that Job is an Edomite according to the Syriac Bible, which is the Peshitta, which didn't start being worked on until 180 AD, and that's 450 years after the LXX, the Greek Septuagint, was composed. So this is clearly an addition. All right, now let me get out of there and let's go back to this right here. And hey, the water for the donation, brother. Yeah, how about you, Shabakata? Now let me oh my goodness, I'm cutting it on time. Hey yo, this is funny right here though. Check this out. I got so much work for this guy. I got a lot from this video. I got so much. And so I don't have time, but I'm definitely gonna keep some of this stuff in the vault because he shot himself in the foot a few times.
Israelite.
Wait, he tried to say Job was an Ishmaelite?
Israelite.
Oh, Israelite, I'm sorry.
The Sachuans, Safar, king of the many.
So then he goes on to Bishop Nathaniel and tries to critique his breakdown on Job. Now watch this. This is funny.
Again, brothers and sisters, this is a commentary from the book of the Syriac writings. This is not biblical. Everybody understand that? So now.
Well, I mean, folks, I did take
from the Syriac writing. Doesn't he realize that the Peshitta?
You see that? Now watch. I want you guys to listen because he shoots himself in the foot. So the bishop is right. The first Syriac writings is the Peshitta. Now, and this is where they say they got it from. Now, he knows, he's just realizing that he shot himself in the foot because he says, doesn't he know that the Peshitta, mentioning the Syriac writings that the bishop said, doesn't he know that the Peshitta? And then he tries to take it back and say, well, I'm not saying it's the Peshitta. Well, it has to be because that's the first Syriac writings about any portion of the Bible. Watch him try to take it back. Right. Let me rewind this. Where we at? 2:14:29. Let's go. Watch this. This is funny.
Understand that. So now.
Well, I mean, folks, I did take
from the Syriac writing. Doesn't he realize that the Peshitta is the Aramaic translation? Now, I'm not saying this is in the Peshitta, by the way. I'm just saying.
You see that? Now I'm not saying this is in the Peshitta, by the way. You know, you just cut yourself. He said the Syriac writings, and you identified the Syriac writings with the Peshitta because that's what it is. Now watch this Irish jigging that he does.
Like somehow the Syriac book of writing, like you couldn't have a translation of the Bible in Aramaic that existed where the people would have read from.
Now, listen, I want everybody to be fair here. What the hell is this dude talking about? Let's listen to it again. If he didn't confound himself, I don't know what he just did. Because I don't know what he's trying to convey here. Except for buying time by stuttering. Stuttering Stant. Hey, I used to watch a movie called Sixth Sense, Stuttering Stanley. That movie was funny as hell.
So now,
Well, I mean, pause. I did take
From the Syriac writing. Doesn't he realize that the Peshitta is the Aramaic translation? Now, I'm not saying this is in the Peshitta, by the way. I'm just saying, like somehow the Syriac book of writing, like you couldn't have a translation of the Bible in Aramaic that existed where the people would have read from, being that during the time of Christ, by the way, just to let it be known, they would have spoken Aramaic by and large. That would.
Then he says, during the time of Christ, they would have spoken Aramaic by and large. Literally, in the New Testament, there are 9 confessions of the language we spoke. I'm not saying words that were being used. I'm saying literally they said, and he spoke in the Hebrew tongue. And he spoke in the Hebrew tongue. It's called Hebraeus or Hebristus in the Greek. Dead Sea Scrolls, majority Greek. Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Excuse me. Majority Greek. Right? Speaking. Words littered through the New Testament, majority Greek. Now, let's say it's majority Aramaic. Guess what? Which that's not true. It's not majority Greek. let's say it is majority Aramaic. It's not majority Greek. So what the hell you worshiping the LXX for? Now, let me get through this because I only got a few more minutes. I wish I had more time because this is hilarious. What did I have here? Oh, according to the timeline, right? According to the Bible timeline, they got Job at 2185. That's before Abraham in the time Noah was living, right? But yet you say he descends from Abraham. How do the Bible scholars in conventional chronology have Job before Abraham, which I don't agree, but let's just stick with the Edomites, these Christians worship and praise. How is he going to be during the time of Noah before Abraham, right? And he comes from Esau, but he exists, what's this? According to conventional chronology, 500 years, a half a millennium before him? Pack your bags, we got to get to Ireland. What else did I have on here? Oh, that's for another time. Oh, it says that Jobab was a king in Edom. Nowhere in the Bible, in the book of Job, does it identify Job as a king. To the contrary, it says he was as a king. And we know this because when he got raided by the Chaldeans and the Sabians, he didn't go to war. If he was a king in Edom, if he was that Jobab that was a king in Edom. But no, he wasn't. So also too, it says, oh, I skipped that or something. It says he was as a king. It didn't say he was a king. Now, I want to use this too. I want to use this because this is funny. This is funny. I want to do something real quick for my last couple minutes here. Let's get God, there's so much stuff. I'm gonna have to come back and revisit this video. I'm not gonna deal with the Job being an Edomite, but he said some stuff concerning the Greek Septuagint and how we preferred it and how the New Testament was composed in Greek and and the Latin Vulgate. He said some outlandish stuff that I'm about to come down on hard. So let me just play a couple more clips that I could try to respond to without having to do too much before I sign out here.
The Vulgate looks differently than the Septuagint there, but it's because the Septuagint was based on Hebrew manuscripts. Now,
Then he says the Latin Vulgate was not I don't know what the hell he's saying.
here's the part that he's not considered. Job was based on the Septuagint. Well, the Job 42:17 reading in the Septuagint was based on older Hebrew manuscripts than the Masoretic text, and it's very much possible that it could have been based on older Hebrew manuscripts than the.
You see, now he said, and it's very much possible, but then he turns around and says it's facts. Watch this.
That Jerome was dealing with. This is a fact.
Is it very much possible or is it a fact?
Septuagint was composed before the time of Jerome. So the Hebrew manuscripts that Jerome would have had access to, were not going to be as old as the ones that the Septuagint translators used.
And this is why you brothers need to stay away from the book and leave it to the Israelites. The scriptures say, Romans 3:1 in Psalms 147:19-20, that the Israelites know the Bible the best. All right.
Now, how about this? Consider this.
Now, let me go to I'm gonna go to this last one, and then I'm gonna show him something real quick that he didn't know. Let's go to this last
Text, right? Right. So if you look right there, like you'll notice, where it says that since Greek was the lingua franca of the Roman Empire at the time and the language of the Greco-Roman Church, as Aramaic was of the Syriac Christianity, which uses the Targumim. All right? Now, this is important. It says in the early Christian church, the presumption that the Septuagint was translated by the Jews before the era of Christ, and that the Septuagint at certain places gives itself more to a Christological interpretation than the 2nd century Hebrew text, was taken as evidence that the Jews had changed the Hebrew text in a way that made them less Christological. And it gives an example, Isaiah 7:14. Isn't it funny that Matthew is quoting the Septuagint there instead of quoting the Hebrew?
Right.
And he's saying that Matthew is quoting the Septuagint instead of the Hebrew. I'm gonna come back to that, and we're gonna really, really harp on that, because if you agreed, he didn't agree, but if you claim that they were speaking Aramaic by and large, and then Hebrew, and then some Greek, and maybe a little Latin. So you telling me that they were just in the crowd full of Aramaic majority or Hebrew majority speaking people reading from a Greek reading scriptures from the Greek and teaching the people in the Greek? Or were they reading the Greek and then speaking it in Hebrew or Aramaic? But how did it fit so perfectly verbatim when they redacted it and composed it? I suggest they backdated it. And we got this proof of a Hebrew New Testament. We got proof of a Shemitic New Testament that we're working on, and it's going to be crazy. Now, I'm going to just give you guys, after this, I'm going to give you guys a sample of this proof of a Hebrew New Testament that we're working on. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to give it to you guys, but he said that the Israelites rather preferred the LXX. Well, why did Josephus say that he couldn't speak it and they rather die than speak Greek? And then the 10th of Tevet, which is a holiday where the Jews mourned because the Hebrew scriptures were translated horribly into the Greek Septuagint. It's a day where they mourn for that event and say it was just as calamitous as the gold calf of Aaron? They preferred the LXX, but they got a day where they fast and mourn because they say it was just as calamitous as the gold calf of Aaron? Mike Perea? And you said they preferred it over the Hebrew? They said they'd rather die than speak Hebrew? Lord in Christ. So let me get this real quick. Let's get this. This is pretty funny too. I got about 4 minutes, Lord willing. This is funny.
And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servant, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule over every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years, and evil was multiplied in the earth. Okay? Now watch what it says. This is what they like to do. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes.
Now look, now he's trying to prove that Esau ain't the wicked of the earth. But he just read where it says when they came into power, or the white man came into power, evils were multiplied in the earth. And he didn't address it. He just read right by it conveniently.
Of Antiochus the king, who had been hostage at Rome, he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. And so they'll tie that together, like as you were explaining earlier, with the verse in Malachi, where it talks about the border of wickedness. But needless to say, the point that we're trying to show is that that's usually how they break it down. They go to Maccabees, go to Malachi, might even, try to get some other verses, somehow, some way talking about the wickedness of Edom. And then they tie that together to say that the wicked in Job 9:24 is in reference to the Edomites, who they believe are white people. So therefore, the white man, or as they would say, the so-called white man, is the wicked. Would that be a correct breakdown? My friend?
Right.
Okay. Now, what we want to show is that, number one, that's faulty, because we have other verses where Israel is called wicked. In fact,
Israel's called wicked, but it just said evils were multiplied in the earth. It calls Esau the border of wickedness. What does the border of wickedness mean? Did you guys even explain that? Can you show me any other verse in the Bible where God plans to exterminate another nation? Where he says, this is the people of my curse? Can you show me when this curse was reversed? When was the curse reversed? Why are they his main enemies in Psalms 83? I want to know, when was this curse reversed? Isaiah 34 and 5. Look at this. No, Isaiah 34. And 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, the Edomites, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Right? The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made with the fatness. Right? So it says a sacrifice in Basra. Hold on. No. Let him, you should have let him stay. Let him post his, if you can. Oh, I can. Okay, he said Hakkad just cut himself. Job was before the time of Maccabees. So how could those Greeks be the wicked if Job talked about the wicked before that time? Oh my goodness. Brother, are you telling me that Job didn't prophesy about any future events? And secondly, I never said I believe any non-Israelite kings who are ruling the earth is the wicked, not just Esau, brother. Dang, guys get so simple. Job said he believes he's gonna see his Redeemer. So he talked about Yahweh Christ before that time. So is he a false prophet? That's a false equivalency. All right. So last scripture, right? He talked about the Aramaic. I'm gonna show you how we're working on this proof of a Shemitic, a Hebrew New Testament, right? Hebrew, not Aramaic. He said we spoke Aramaic by and large, or the Jews spoke Aramaic by and large. Now I want you guys to look at this. This is something. This is just a teaser to our Hebrew New Testament. We're going to show you guys. It says, "In James, the son of Zebedee, and John, the brother of James, he surnamed them Boanerges, which is the sons of thunder." Now, keep in mind, this is Christ speaking here. Now, this word Boanerges, watch this. I'm gonna show you guys something. This is Aramaic, and this goes to show you that the New Testament was written long after the accounts of Christ and the apostles. And what they did was they alleged that they were speaking Aramaic, so they redacted it in Aramaic, right? It says of Aramaic origin, this word. Now let's see. This is a compound word. Let's see if it means sons of thunder, because that's what Christ said it meant. Or no, that's what Mark is saying it means sons of thunder, right? Now let's see. It's a compound word. Bun. Bun is son. Now let's go back. Watch this. Rage. This don't mean thunder. This means rage. Now look, check this out. We can further prove it. It's used in Daniel 9 and 13, the same word, because Daniel was written in Aramaic. It says, "Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, da 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 da." So in Aramaic, this name means sons of rage. But Mark is saying it means sons of thunder. Huh. What do we got? Either Christ wasn't fluent in his Aramaic, or Mark didn't understand Aramaic. Haha. So anyway, the point is that the New Testament originally, we're gonna prove this. The New Testament was composed in Hebrew and some of Aramaic, little of Greek, and then they took it sometime later and backdated it into the Greek Septuagint and inserted. This is just facts. This is what you call the field of textual criticism, right? Now I'm gonna show you guys one more thing. I'm gonna show you guys something. Yeah. You know what? I don't know. Let me see. Wait, who believes in Easter? Somebody believes in Easter? Oh boy. Okay, so all right, I've been on here for 58 minutes. I got a minute and a half. For questions. Ask your questions or make your remarks while I look for one more thing real quick. Now let's take a look at this, right? Let's take a look at something. Real quick. I want to show you guys something. I also want to prove that the New Testament wasn't that Christ wasn't going around speaking to people in Hebrew, right? I mean in Greek. Now look at this, right? Let's take a look at this. Check this out. I've been holding on to this one. Now look, this is Peter. Well, let's go with Peter. It says, "For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell," right? Now, what is this word for hell? Tartaro. Tartaros, right? It's the name, look at this, the name of the subterranean region, doleful and dark, regarded by the ancient, both word about it, and to thrust down to Tartarus told it. So keep in mind, right? Peter would be saying the Greek word Tartarus, right? Now let's look at Tartarus. And we know that Greek mythology and Fair Use Act too. I got to put that up there. Fair Use Act. Let's look at this word Tartarus. I want to show you guys something. Now, Greek mythology was 500 years before Peter and all these guys. Now, let's see what Tartarus means in Greek mythology. It's the deep abyss that is used as a dungeon of torment and suffering for the wicked and as the prison for titans. Tartarus is the place where, according to Plato's Gorgias, 400 BC, that's 400 years before Christ and Peter, souls are judged after death and the wicked receive divine. Tartarus is also considered to be a primordial force or deity. So Tartarus is a goddamn deity. Tartarus is a Greek god and also a place where it holds the Titans. And this was heavily circulating in Greek mythology, Greek philosophy, and Greek so-called religion and ideology heavily before the Messiah and Peter, even in the time of Messiah and Peter, and even after the Messiah and Peter. So you telling me Peter was telling niggas that God sent some angels down to a Greek deity where the Titans are? When you look at the New Testament and the words it uses and the phrases it uses, you can definitely tell for a fact that it wasn't composed originally by the Jews, especially from a theological perspective and in righteousness, that they're using these words and these phraseologies. For another example, right? Hades. Let's look at Hades. Look at this. Hades. Hades, the Greek god of the dead. So Hades is a goddamn god. He was the oldest male child of Kronos. Hades and his brother Zeus, right? Now Hades is a goddamn god who has a brother in Zeus, a Greek god. Yet when we look at this word, see, Christians teach Greek mythology and idolatry. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Now look, check this out. Now we got Christ saying this word, Capernaum, and thou Capernaum, which are exalted unto heaven, shall be brought down to Hades. So Christ is amongst all these Jews, Aramaic, Hebrew speaking Jews, monotheistic Jews, talking about you about to go down to this Greek god Hades. If you don't knock it off, and Mike Perea, you gotta knock it off with this praise in the Greek and talking about our Lord is teaching Greek idolatry and Greek mythology. So if there's no questions, I'm gonna go ahead and close out of here. Let me try to scroll back up here. Okay. Brother's talking about Jasher. Hey, Mike Perea, faithful to God, bro. Hey, don't break the commandments. Scriptures talk about dealing falsely, lying, bearing false witness. And just close down your YouTube, shut down shop. You're not qualified to teach. And we definitely got some more coming from all of these videos on this channel. It's time to get back activated. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.